So if you ask someone how to build, like, significant wealth, the default answer usually involves figuring out what you can sell.
Right, yeah. A product, a service, or, just your time.
Exactly. But welcome to today's deep dive, where we are looking at a source called the Million Dollar Value Blueprint, which argues that starting with what you want to sell is, well, it's an entirely backward approach.
It really is. It forces this complete inversion of standard business logic.
Yeah, and usually as a learner, you're tackling these massive stacks of research with us.
Yeah.
But our mission today is totally unique. We are going to unpack just one single hyper-concentrated sentence from this text.
Just one sentence, yeah,
Yeah.
because it basically acts as the underlying operating system for the author's entire wealth strategy.
Right. Okay, so the sentence is this, quote, I have decided to earn $1 million by providing value to others through solving problems that people truly need help with.
And I mean, what's fascinating here is that we are culturally wired to fixate on the first half of that statement.
$1 million.
Exactly, the $1 million. But the actual mechanical engine of the concept is the second half. It defines wealth not as this primary target you aim for, but just as a lagging indicator of utility.
Which, okay, let's unpack this because the tension there is fascinating.
Mhm.
Earning $1 million is, an inherently self-serving goal.
Right. You want the capital for yourself.
Yeah. But the method the author insists on, solving other people's problems, is entirely selfless. It's
Mhm.
externally focused.
It really is. It shifts the focus completely away from how do I get money toward what do people actually need.
I actually like to think of it like the economics of building a toll road.
Oh, a toll road. How so?
Well, I mean, if you just set up a toll booth in the middle of an empty field and demand money, people will just ignore you.
Yeah, obviously. They just drive right past.
Right. You only get to collect the toll if you invest the effort to, say, pave a path through a mountain that saves people hours of driving.
Oh, I see.
So the $1 million is merely a reflection of the scale and urgency of the problems you solve for the public. You're just capturing a fraction of the frustration you save them.
That is a perfect analogy because if you only stare at the toll booth, you fail. The blueprint demands that you study the mountain instead.
You have to identify where the friction is.
Exactly. Why do people truly need help? Because a pain point represents an economic inefficiency in their lives. And when you eliminate that inefficiency, you create surplus value.
And earning the million is basically mathematically dependent on creating more than $1 million worth of relief for the market.
Precisely. You're just capturing a percentage of that newly created surplus.
But let me push back on how that math actually plays out in reality.
Okay, sure.
Because solving problems is still a really broad directive. To hit that $1 million threshold, does this blueprint suggest we need to build like a massive complex highway for a handful of big corporations?
Right.
Or are we talking about fixing a tiny everyday pothole for millions of individual commuters?
Well, the thing is, the math holds up in both scenarios.
Wait, really, both?
Yeah, because the author anchors the whole strategy on the phrase, truly need help with. That means this works across different scales.
Oh, as long as the mechanics of price and volume align.
Exactly. You can solve a $100,000 pain point for 10 clients or, a $1 annoyance for 1 million users.
So the critical variable isn't the scale of the audience.
Right. It is the severity of the need.
Meaning, if the problem is just some minor inconvenience, the value exchange breaks down.
The severity dictates the demand. Like, going back to your analogy, if the mountain isn't hard enough to cross, people won't pay your toll.
They'll just take the long way around.
Exactly. The text uses the word truly to filter out nice-to-have products in favor of need-to-have solutions. That urgency is what creates the willingness to pay.
And that willingness is the mechanism that validates the whole $1 million goal.
You got it. It's not a complex mathematical formula. It's just a fundamental mindset shift.
Right. So to summarize for you listening, the takeaway here is to stop looking for a product to push onto the market and start looking for a structural headache to cure.
Move entirely away from that mindset of wealth extraction.
Yeah, and commit entirely to the mechanics of problem solving. Because the income is really just the market's mechanism for signaling how effectively you cured that headache.
It's just a byproduct of genuine utility.
Which leaves us with a very practical challenge for you to mull over on your own.
The big question.
Right. If $1 million is simply the byproduct of solving a genuine need, what is the single most urgent, ignored problem in your immediate sphere that you are uniquely equipped to start fixing today?